My girlfriend texted her sister. He proposed, but the ring is tiny. Should I make him upgrade? I saw it when she left her phone unlocked. I said nothing, just contacted the jeweler, returned the ring, and got back the $8,500. When she showed her fiancé hand to her sister the next day, and it was empty, original post. I, 31 male, am an accountant at a mid-sized firm. Not big for glamorous, but stable work, good benefits, and I've been there 7 years. I make around $78,000, which isn't crazy money, but it's comfortable for a single guy. I've got no debt except my car payment, a decent savings account, and I've been putting aside money for the last 8 months specifically for an engagement ring. My girlfriend and I had been together for 3 years. We met at a friend's wedding, cliché, I know, and things moved pretty naturally from there. Exclusive after 2 months, moved in together after 18 months, and by year 3, everyone was asking when I was going to make it official. Here's some context that matters. Her older sister got engaged about 6 months before this all went down. Her sister's fiancé works in finance, makes easily double what I make, and bought her a ring that was substantial. I don't know the exact specs, but it was big enough that it became the centerpiece of every family gathering for about 3 months. Photos, congratulations, the whole 9 yards. I noticed my girlfriend looking at that ring a lot, comparing hands, that kind of thing. When I started seriously shopping for a ring, I did my research. I talked to a jeweler who came recommended by a coworker, learned about the 4CS, figured out what I could realistically afford without going into debt. I landed on a 0.75 carat oval diamond, excellent cut, set in white gold. The jeweler worked with me on a custom setting that made the stone look a bit larger than it was. Total cost, $8,500. That was a lot of money for me. Almost 3 months of take-home pay. I was proud of it. The jeweler said the quality was excellent, the stone had great fire, and the setting was elegant. I felt good about my choice. I proposed on a Saturday evening in October. We were at home. She mentioned once that she'd hate a public proposal. So I set up our apartment with candles and flowers, made her favorite dinner, and got down on one knee in our living room. She said yes, cried, hugged me, the whole expected response. But there was this moment, maybe a second, when she first looked at the ring where something flickered across her face. I told myself I imagined it. She put it on, said it was beautiful, and we spent the rest of the night calling family and taking photos. The next morning, I woke up before her and went to make coffee. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, and it buzzed with a text notification. I wasn't snooping, I literally just glanced at it while walking past. The preview showed a message from her sister. So, did you talk to him about upgrading? I stopped. Read it again. Then, I'll admit, I picked up the phone. It was unlocked. She never set a passcode, and the conversation with her sister was right there. The text from the night before, sent while I thought she was in the bathroom, freshening up. He proposed. Sister, finally. Show me the ring. Photo of her hand with the ring. Sister, oh. Sister, that's it. I know. It's tiny. Sister, girl. After 3 years? That's what he came up with. I'm trying not to be disappointed, but you saw yours. And his job pays less than mine. Sister, can you get him to upgrade? Tell him you want something bigger for the wedding. Maybe. I'll work on him. He's easy to guilt. Then from that morning. Sister, so? Did you talk to him about upgrading? I stood there in my kitchen, holding her phone, reading those words over and over. He's easy to guilt. That's what he came up with. It's tiny. $8,500. 8 months of saving. A custom setting. And I'm easy to guilt about my tiny ring. I put the phone back exactly where it was. Made coffee. Sat at the kitchen table. She came out 20 minutes later, all smiles, waving her ring hand around. I still can't believe I'm engaged. I need to get my nails done so I can take proper photos. Yeah, I said. Definitely. I spent that whole day in a fog, going through the motions, smiling when she talked about wedding venues and color schemes. Meanwhile, my brain was running calculations. By that evening, I made my decision. Update 1, 4 days later. Okay, so a lot has happened, and I need to get this down while it's fresh. After I saw those texts, I didn't confront her. I know some people would have blown up immediately, but that's not how I operate. I'm an accountant. I deal with problems systematically. First thing Monday morning, I called the jeweler, explained that the engagement was off, didn't get into details, and asked about the return policy. Custom rings are usually non-returnable, but I'd bought the diamond separately from the setting, and the setting itself was actually a modified version of one of their standard designs. After some negotiation, they agreed to take back the diamond for full value, $7,200, and give me store credit for the setting, $1,300, that I could transfer to cash with a 15% restocking fee. Net return, $8,095. Not the full $8,500, but close enough. The catch, I needed the ring back. I waited until Tuesday night. She was on her sister's place for dinner. Ironic, right? And I told her I wanted to get the ring cleaned and inspected before she wore it too much. The jeweler said to bring it in within the first week to check the prongs. I lied. She handed it over without suspicion. That's so thoughtful, babe. God, I love that you think of these things. Wednesday morning, I went to the jeweler, completed the return, and deposited $8,095 back into my savings account. Wednesday evening, I started quietly moving my important stuff out of the apartment. Not everything, just things that mattered to me. Documents, my laptop, closed for a week. I took them to my buddy's place and told him I might need to crash for a bit. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer. Thursday was when she was planning to show her sister the ring in person. They made lunch plans. A whole thing. I knew what was coming. That morning, she was getting ready, and she asked for the ring back. Oh, I said, not looking up for my coffee. About that. About what? I returned it. The silence lasted about 5 seconds. You what? I returned the ring. Got a refund. Well, most of a refund. Custom pieces, you know how it is. She laughed. Actually laughed. Very funny. Where's it really? I just told you. I returned it. The engagement is off. Her face went through about 6 different expressions. Confusion, disbelief, anger, more confusion. What are you talking about? I saw the text, by the way, to your sister, about the ring being tiny and how you were going to guilt me into upgrading. The color drained from her face. The he's easy to guilt part was a nice touch. Really made me feel appreciated. You went through my phone. It was unlocked on the counter. The preview showed up. But honestly, that's what you're focusing on right now. She started crying. That was just venting. Sisters talk. I didn't mean it. You didn't mean that my ring was tiny? That you wanted me to upgrade? That I'm easy to guilt? I was comparing it to my sister's ring and feeling insecure. It's not. About the money. You literally said, his job pays less than mine, like that was an insult. And you were planning to work on me to get a bigger ring. That's textbook manipulation. So, but you're ending 3 years over some texts? I'm ending it because those texts showed me how you actually think about me. Not the version you show me, the real version. The one that thinks I'm easy to manipulate and that my best effort isn't good enough. She tried everything after that. Crying harder. Apologizing. Saying she'd make it up to me. Saying I was overreacting. Then, when none of that worked, getting angry. You're going to regret this. Everyone is going to know what you did. Took back an engagement ring like some kind of psycho. I mean, you're welcome to tell that story. Just make sure to include the part where you called the ring tiny and planned to guilt me into buying a bigger one. Really rounds out the narrative. She grabbed her purse and left. Slammed the door so hard the wall shook. I sat there alone in the apartment we'd shared for over a year, and I won't pretend I didn't feel something. 3 years is a long time. There were good memories mixed in with whatever this was. But I also felt something else underneath the hurt. Relief. Update 2, 1 week later. All right, things escalated. After she stormed out on Thursday, I assumed she went to her sister's. I was right, but I didn't know what was being planned over there. Friday morning, I got a call from her mom. Now, her mom had always been a lot. Very involved in her daughter's lives. Very opinionated about everything from career choices to restaurant selections. We'd had an okay relationship, mostly because I nodded a lot and kept my opinions to myself. I just heard what happened, she said. No greeting, no warm-up. You need to fix this. With all due respect, ma'am, I don't think I do. My daughter is devastated. She made one mistake, one private conversation, and you're throwing away 3 years. Did she tell you what she said in that conversation? She said she vented to her sister about feeling insecure. That's normal. Women talk. You're not supposed to read her private messages. She called the ring tiny. Said I was easy to guilt. Planned to manipulate me into buying her a bigger one. That's not insecurity, that's entitlement. She deserves a nice ring. Is that so terrible? You should want to give her nice things. I did give her a nice thing. An $8,500 thing. That apparently wasn't nice enough. $8,500? That's not. I mean, that's fine for some people. But her sister's ring was. Not my problem. And frankly, not my concern anymore. She huffed. You're making a mistake. She's not going to wait around for you to come to your senses. Good. She shouldn't wait. I hung up. Probably rude, but I was done being polite to people who saw me as a walking wallet. The next wave came Sunday. Her dad called. Her dad and I had always gotten along better. He was quieter, more practical. I expected him to be the peacemaker. Instead, look, son, I get that you're upset, but you need to think about this rationally. She made a mistake, but is it worth blowing up your whole life over? Maybe you two could do couples counseling, work through this. I appreciate that, sir, but I'm not the one who needs counseling. I proposed with the best I could afford, and I got mocked for it behind my back. That's not a communication problem. That's a values problem. He sighed. She's always had high expectations. We probably didn't do her any favors there. But she loves you. She gets caught up in comparisons with her sister. Then she needs to work on that. Without me. What if she apologized? Really apologized? An apology doesn't change what she actually thinks. It just means she's sorry she got caught. He didn't have much to say after that. Monday, I got a text from her sister. I'd never been close with her sister. She'd always treated me like an afterthought, barely remembering my name at family events. But now suddenly she had opinions. You're really doing this? Breaking her heart because she vented to me? You must have never loved her at all. I didn't respond, but I did screenshot it. That same day, she showed up at the apartment. We were still technically both on the lease, so I couldn't exactly keep her out. I want to talk, she said. Really talk. No yelling. Okay. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, and I understand why you're hurt. But I need you to understand where I was coming from. Go ahead. My sister has always had more. Better boyfriends, better career, better everything. When she got engaged and had that ring, everyone made such a big deal about it. And I knew that when I got engaged, people would compare. My family, our friends, they'd look at my ring and look at hers and think less of me. So this was about how you'd look to other people. It was about not feeling like the lesser sister for once in my life. And I was supposed to fix that by spending more money. Money I didn't have. You could have financed it. Everyone finances rings. I'm an accountant. I don't finance jewelry. And honestly, the fact that you expected me to go into debt so you could compete with your sister is insane to me. I wasn't competing. You literally were. You just said so. This wasn't about us. It wasn't about our relationship. It was about you not looking worse than your sister. She started crying again. Why are you being so cold? This isn't like you. Maybe you never really knew what I was like. You just knew the version that was easy to guilt. That hit her. I watched her face crumble. I need you to move out by the end of the month, I said. I'll cover the full rent for the next 2 months, so you have time to find a place, but I want you gone. You can't just. The lease is up in 3 months anyway. I'm not renewing. You can either leave now with 2 months of buffer, or we can both leave in 3 months when the lease ends. Your choice. She grabbed some things and left again. Not slamming the door this time. Just quiet. Update 3. Final 3 weeks later. So, it's done. She moved out last weekend. Took about 60% of the apartment with her, which was fair. Most of the furniture was stuff she'd bought or we'd bought together. I kept the TV, the kitchen stuff I actually cooked she didn't, and the bed because I'd paid for it outright. The process was awkward, but not dramatic. She brought her dad to help move boxes, and he nodded at me once without saying anything. I stayed out of the way, went to a coffee shop for a few hours, came back to a much emptier apartment. The aftermath has been interesting. Her family stopped contacting me directly, but the ripple effects reached my social circle. Mutual friends took sides. Some thought I was too harsh. Ending an engagement over text seems extreme. Others, mostly the ones who knew me well, understood. If she was talking about guilting you before you were even married, imagine what she'd try after. The most unexpected conversation came from her cousin, someone I'd only met a handful of times at family events. She DM'd me on Instagram about a week after everything went down. "Hey, I heard what happened. I know we don't really know each other, but I wanted to tell you something." I braced for another lecture. Instead, she's been like this forever. With boyfriends, with jobs, with everything. Nothing is ever good enough. Her sister isn't actually that different. She's just better at hiding it. You got out at the right time. My ex-husband didn't, and she was at our wedding making comments about the venue. I thank her for reaching out. It helped, honestly. Validation from an unexpected source. A few days ago, I ran into one of her bridesmaids, what would have been bridesmaid, at a grocery store. She gave me this look like I was a war criminal. "I hope you're happy," she said. "She's devastated. She'll recover. You know she really loved you, right? She loved what I could provide her." That's different. She didn't have a comeback for that. Just walked away. The thing nobody tells you about ending a long-term relationship is how weird the quiet is afterward. Not bad weird, just different. I come home to an apartment that's half empty. I cook for one. I watch whatever I want without negotiating. It's lonelier, but also simpler. I've been thinking a lot about what I actually want going forward. Not just in relationships, but in general. For 3 years, a lot of my decisions were filtered through us, what we wanted, what worked for both of us, what would make her happy. Now it's just me again, and I'm still figuring out who that is. My buddy asked me the other day if I regretted returning the ring. That was kind of a power move, he said. You could have just broken up and let her keep it. I thought about it. No, the ring meant something. It wasn't just jewelry. It was supposed to represent my commitment, my promise. She treated it like a down payment that didn't meet her expectations. Getting it back felt like reclaiming my dignity, I guess. Heavy. Yeah, well, sometimes the symbolism matters. I've got the $8,095 sitting in my savings account now. I thought about what to do with it. Save it for future use. Spend it on something for myself, whatever. For now, it's just there. A reminder of what I almost committed to and why I didn't. Last thing, she texted me yesterday. First contact in about 2 weeks. "I found a box of your stuff in my car. Books and some clothes. Do you want me to drop them off, or should I leave them on your porch?" "Porch is fine. Thanks." "Okay." Then, a few minutes later, "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Not just for getting caught, for thinking that way in the first place. I've got some things to work on." I didn't respond. I don't know if that apology is real or just another attempt to leave the door open. It doesn't really matter. The door is closed. Some lessons cost $8,500. Mine cost $405 in restocking fees and 3 years. Could have been worse. Could have been a divorce lawyer and half my retirement account. I'll take the win.